Happy Sunday. What's good, everybody? Of course, this is another installment of the Southern Ballers Show. Of course, I am the creator of it, Jared 011 Green. And of course, I can't have the show without my co-host, Coach 67 Sports TV. What's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot, bro. Blessed and highly favored. Feeling much better this Sunday than I was last Sunday. Come to find out I had COVID, but
Oh, man.
thank the Lord, feeling better. All is
Yes, sir.
well. We on a road to like 10K. So if y'all have not done so, please subscribe. Today's show is gonna be an excellent show. Y'all sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And shout out to the mighty LDBC, y'all brothers and sisters supporting. I appreciate y'all. Um, thank everybody, my Baltimore Raven folks, you know who you are. Living Big with Big Reg, 86 Goats, the Road Pod, all y'all.
Shout out to the Flock family, man.
Yeah, shout out to the Flock family. Appreciate y'all, man. All y'all.
Oh,
JB, how you doing? Go ahead, Coach.
One thing I would like to wish our brother Joseph Townsend a happy birthday. Happy birthday to your bro.
Happy birthday, Joe Town, man.
Happy birthday, Joe Town. Enjoy your day, man. Sit back, relax.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Around this earth, one more year, man, and many more.
I'm just blessed, man. I'm doing good, man. Can't complain.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. But man, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk about that good ass game that happened yesterday, the Celebration Bowl, in Atlanta yesterday. It was FAMU versus Howard, and it was a great game. Now, and those who did not watch it, have no fear. I got video on YouTube. I'm going to share. Of course, I'm going to mute it. Of course, fair use YouTube, but I am going to play it for y'all. And while and this is for the folks who didn't get a chance to watch it, so there it is for y'all in the background to kind of view. But Coach, what was your thoughts on the game?
It was an excellent celebration bowl, like you and I talk about all the time. Basically, this is the kind of reincarnation of it, because originally it was the Heritage Bowl. Southern played in the Heritage Bowl a lot in the 90s. After a while, there was not a lot of interest in the game. And then the huge issue that Coach Richardson had was the fact that since Southern and Grambling, since they play in the Bayou Classic, it's the same week that the 1AA playoffs starts, or the FCS playoffs now. Southern and Grambling are automatically eliminated from playing in the 1AA playoffs. So at the time, what the MEAC would do, they would send their top two teams to the playoffs. And if Southern or Grambling went, they would be playing against the third place team from the MEAC. So basically, it got to a point after a while, the interest kind of went away. But after they came back with it, it's lately the MEAC has been dominated, even though I kind of always show like the SWAC was a better conference. But yesterday was an excellent game. Even though Howard was off for like a month and FAMU only had like, a 2-week break, you would think the team that had the long break would get off to a slow start, but it was the opposite. The team that was only off 2 weeks, they struggled out the gate, and Howard got out to a fast start. and it kind of gave credence to a lot of people's thinking and ideology that, oh yeah, hey, maybe the MEAC has a swag number. But after a while, FAMU really kind of started to get into the game. And eventually, at one point, they went up 2 scores. And I think that the mistake that Coach Willie Simmons made, even though they didn't have as much success running the ball as they ordinarily have, I really felt like they weren't patient enough to really stick with the running game and give the ball to Jai Cash Yant and the big backs that they have. I think they were too pass happy, and I think that kind of let Howard back in the game and come back and take the lead.
I
But
agree.
they never panicked. They never pushed the panic button. They just kept doing what they were doing. And when I felt like on third down he should have thrown the ball, he ran it and he punted it. And you can even see some of his players questioning him. And you kind of see Coach Simmons like, hey man, I got this. Like, tell me what to do. And basically, Isaiah Major, he came up with a big play, and that pretty much ended the game. So, it was an excellent game. One of the best celebration bowls in recent history, recent memory. It was a great game.
All right, and so shout out to Living Big with Big Reg. He said it was good, everybody. Ladies and gents, if you haven't subscribed to this gentleman's YouTube channel, please do. He does talk about the Baltimore Ravens, but he does talk about other topics.
Yeah, it's a culture channel for those individuals that don't know. It's a little bit of everything. I hopped in on another night and he was talking about his top 5 favorite rappers. Excellent show. So y'all go check the brother out.
Yes, sir. Awesome. But JB, what did you think about the game?
I love the game, man. It's in its totality is basically pan out how what we've been talking about on this show for the past year. Um, Especially the first couple of first two quarters with Howard going up 14-0 as it seems here. I was like, oh God, there you go, the MEAC upsetting another SWAC team who's dominated the SWAC. But I'm happy for Florida A&M. I'm glad I was wrong. I will gladly eat crow. They stepped up and showed them why they was one of the best teams in HBCU football. So congrats to Florida A&M.
Congrats indeed. And as y'all can see in the background, Howard punched FAMU in the mouth, so they was up 14-0. As y'all continue to watch, you will see that the game changed as FAMU Jennings scored right there. I just loved how even though, like you said, Willie Simmons was pass happy, he still did not give up on the running game, even though that I have to give Howard credit. Their D line was very stout. Very stout. I thought in my opinion, I thought they were just gonna get bullied and manhandled up front, but they did fairly well. But what those runs did eventually what Willie Simmons was trying to do, open up the passing game, and even Kelvin Dean Jr., which he's Swiss. He could do everything. He could catch it out the backfield. Of course, his original position is running back, so he did tote that ball a few times. But his main impact was through the air. He beat the defense over the top for a touchdown twice.
Yeah, bro. I mean, for those individuals that don't know, he was the player of the game. He played well. And like my brother said, he did an excellent job catching the ball out the backfield. That really kind of, when FAMU really started to get it going, was when they was able to hit him with big plays, out the backfield, just going up the field. Wheel right up the field for a touchdown, seam out. Like those two plays really kind of got FAMU back in the game and broke the game open in FAMU's favor. And like you said, excellent point in terms of how a defensive line came to play. They really shut down a lot of the running game that a lot of other teams really wouldn't have been able to. And I mean, they were physical up front on the D line. So maybe that's part of the reason why FAMU stuck with the passing game so much. But nevertheless, like you said, they really didn't abandon it. So they did a good job.
Yeah, they did. The Howard Bison's quarterback Quentin Williams, he gave the ball up through three touchdowns. I mean, excuse me, three interceptions. Uh, so that FAMU defense was locked on, man. Um, and eventually, if earlier in the game that the run game for FAMU was getting the run defense was getting they were getting gashed in the beginning of the first quarter uh, with Howard using Eden James and um, Jared Hunter. And those who don't know, Eden James is actually the son of Hall of Fame running back Edgerrin James. So that but they did a great job of containing him in the second half. Didn't allow him to take over the game because that's me. The little research I did on Howard, they offense gets going from their running game. So
Yeah,
once FAMU shut that down, you started seeing a lot of turnovers from the quarterback, Quentin Williams. Go ahead, Coach.
and like I
Yeah,
was telling
that
you,
quarter.
no,
Go ahead. I'm
go
sorry.
JB, go JB.
No, I was gonna say that quarter. I kind of knew FAMU was gonna come back. That the quarterback remind me of the South Carolina State quarterback, where if you put him in certain situations, he will turn over the ball if the run game is not going. Um, or he doesn't have a weapon like Shaq Davis. But that's it. I just was giving off vibes, those type of vibes. Just watch. I was like, oh man, FAMU is gonna make this dude turn over the ball by forcing him to throw by shutting down the run game. So, and that's exactly what happened. You know.
This is after Jeremy Musa, and then Jeremy Musa gave up the ball. He had a pick six, as y'all just saw if y'all was paying attention to the background.
Well,
Um,
on that bubble screen, those two wide receivers let the DB run through. Neither one of them got a hand on him. Neither blocked him. That's why he was able to get the pick six. So that wasn't necessarily Jeremy Moose's fault. That was the two wide receivers that was not blocking on the outside. But going back to the point what you were saying about FAMU run defense, well, I said this going into the game when they came to A.W. Mumford Stadium, P. Richardson Field to play against Southern. Like early in the game, Gary Quarles Jr. had an excellent game. Him and Kendrick Grimes had success, but it was more the Gary Quarles Jr. show at that point before Kendrick Grimes like kind of separated himself as the feature back. So they Southern had rearranged the offensive line. They had a good game against UAB leading up to that point. And in the first half, like they had a lot of success running the ball early in the game, like the first half. However, in the second half, whatever adjustments FAMU made, they made those adjustments. And they pretty much shut down the running game in the second half. And FAMU pretty much did the same thing yesterday. They struggled early stopping the run, but later on in the game, they did the same thing they did against Southern, and they were able to make the adjustment and basically like shut down the running game.
yeah, that's exactly what happened. So that FAMU defense is the real deal. They a lot of times they did win. Like I said, they did were gashed a lot of times in the first quarter for big runs by Eden James and Jared Hunter, but um, they just dug in, man. They dug in and played FAMU football on that defensive side of the ball, and Willie Simmons eventually got what he wanted. Um, as far as what they wanted to do on the offensive side of the ball. Um, so as you can see, I can stop sharing. FAMU won the game. So congratulations for the first time ever, SWAC champs, and winning the SWAC champ. Excuse me, Celebration Bowl for the first time. So congrats to those FAMU Rattlers.
Yeah, and like I said, they were more synonymous with playing in the Heritage Bowl back in the Gap. Because, like I said, I think the best Heritage Bowl I've seen when FAMU played against Southern, and Southern ended up pulling out the fire and won. But for FAMU being the best team in HBCU land, winning the HBCU national championship, hats off to them. They had a great team, great run this year. But it's going to be interesting to see how Coach Willie Simmons rebuilds that team with, Jeremy Musa leaving. They have a lot of upperclassmen on a particular team. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fill a void left by many of the players that's going to leave after yesterday's game.
Yeah, definitely gonna be interesting to see. But you know what, Coach? We're gonna be here to talk about it. Whatever changes happen, we're gonna be here to talk about it.
Yes, sir.
Um, uh, in other news, I do want to say congratulations to, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, this was history was made yesterday in Texas high school football. For the first time in two games, both coaches on each side from both teams were black head coaches for two games. One was DeSoto versus Summer Creek, and the other was Duncanville versus North Shore. So both of those games, all the coaches were black, and that was the first time that has ever happened in Texas high school football. And I also want to congratulate the DeSoto Eagles and the Duncanville Panthers, and congratulations Coach Samples for getting his second Texas high school state championship. So congratulations to those young men.
One of
And
the best coaches I ever seen, other than
yes,
my pops.
yes.
Yeah, congratulations to them. And one quick question for y'all fellas. DeSoto was the only team that Duncanville lost to this year, right?
Yes, that's how I know that it was going to be a mismatch. No disrespect to the other team that played DeSoto yesterday, but I knew that DeSoto played way better talent throughout the season.
Their first couple of games like South Oak Cliff and Duncanville, right?
Yeah, yes.
See,
Yeah, well, congratulations to them. In fact, I have a cousin that plays for Duncanville. Well, actually, I have a couple cousins because I have a cousin from New Orleans, but he lives in Dallas now, and his sons play for Duncanville. So congratulations to them.
Congrats, man.
congrats.
Them Louisiana athletes over there, making Texas high school football better. Some Louisiana bred boys. So congratulations to your cousins, Coach.
Thank you, bro.
But we are also going to talk about what's been going on in the transfer portal a little bit. Those who don't know, Coach Prime is basically restocking the offensive line. It seems like lately he's just been going off after offensive linemen, and as he should. This past season, regular season, I should say, Shador Sanders was the most sacked and knocked down in college football. So that offensive line was atrocious. It was pretty bad. He did flip, or he did pick up one of the best offensive linemen in the nation. So those critics who's talking crap, you know what I mean, that don't really care for Coach Prime, one thing you can't deny him, he knows how to get recruits. I give him that. You got to give it to him. Any feedback on that, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people they don't like Coach Prime just for the sake of the fact that he's like brash. They feel he's cocky. They feel he's arrogant. But to me, I think the thing you need to look at the most is one, his track record, and two, more than anything, what is his team doing on the field? So as we enter into 2024 season that comes up, let's see what his team does, and then we'll just go from that point. But I think we just at the point now where a lot of people just hating on him just for his brash attitude, at least in their estimation. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know we still have some people that were HBCU fans that loved him in the SWAC, and I think they don't want him to be as successful because he loved Jackson State, and we already had that show like maybe about a year ago around this time. So just let the past be the past and just move forward. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I know he in the HBCU realm and world, he could have done much bigger things, but we knew it was going to happen. The handwriting was on the wall. He was going to eventually leave for a PWI in a Power 5, and he did. So it is what it is. Just let's see what he does on the field moving forward. So for all those people that's jealous of him or hating on him for whatever reason, I mean, just let the man do what he does.
I agree. JB, what's your thoughts?
I mean, at this point, all I can do is just listen to what Coach is saying. He says he's, they're going to get better, help us on the way. And from what I'm seeing, he's doing what he said he was going to do. So now, how will it transfer on the field? We will see. Because they started off strong with a 4-0 start, and then defenses and teams around the the the, the league, when the teams that they were playing game plan against them, and they had no answer. So I mean, and they already got good players, but I'm just hoping with all these players they got coming in, they got a game plan. That's what I'm looking for. And as far as the hate, people gonna hate. You know what I'm saying? Um, and to be honest with you, Prime is just doing something that everybody else been doing for years. Um, even pre portal, transfer portal, people been doing what Prime has been doing. So I don't think they just like how Prime is just um, exposing himself, exposing his players. Um, really, it's kind of like a reality show, but it's entertainment. And the reason why I don't mind that because football is entertainment. So hey, I mean, who cares? I support Brian. Um, he won back-to-back SWAC championships. So let's see what he does.
Okay, okay. And what up, Jay Good?
Salute
What
to
up,
the
Jay
brother
Good?
Jay Good. Salute to the brother Jay Bar. Salute to
Jay
y'all.
Bar, salute. Salute. Appreciate y'all, man. But going back to the don't mean to dominate the conversation with as far as the transfer portal conversation with Coach Prime, but he is a good example as far as the transfer portal because he's steady bringing in talent. But it's been crazy, man. Y'all know Cam Ward, the Washington quarterback. I mean, how well he did last year. I mean, you thought he would stay, but he's transferring. He's in the transfer portal. Uh, I might butcher his name. DJ Ukulele from Oregon State, former Clemson quarterback. He's back in the transfer portal. So it's Riley Leonard transfer. I thought
That
Riley Leonard that was a big surprise to me.
that's a surprise for me. Yeah, I think he was the man at Duke. He just got
Yeah,
hurt, so it's gonna be interesting in where he go.
Well, I
and
mean,
that,
in many,
yeah,
many instances, fellas, when it comes to the transfer portal, you know, don't get me wrong. Sometimes, if your head coach leaves or whatever the case may be, yeah, or whatever case. But in some instances, guys, especially if they graduate or whatever, sometimes they might not. They could be underclassmen. It doesn't even matter. Sometimes guys just enter a transfer portal. I know we talked about this already, but from a Southern perspective, you know, uh, Kelvin Givens had an excellent season. He entered the transfer portal. Christian Davis was they starting cornerback, and they locked down corner. He entered the transfer portal. Eli Fields, Harold Blood, Dylan Marotta, uh, uh, Gerard Sims, Carl Ligon. I mean, don't get me wrong, Sims and Ligon, they were ineligible from an academic standpoint this year, but they hit the portal. So, like a lot of Southern players entered the transfer portal. That's just from a Southern perspective. Even if you look at how well Kevin Givens played, for him to enter the portal, it's head scratching. It didn't make sense. It
yeah.
didn't make
When Jay,
sense.
I ain't gonna lie, Coach. When Jay Good um told us that, man, that was shocking.
I mean, but even Christian Davis, I'm like, he didn't have the kind of impact I thought he would have in terms of making an all SWAC team, but he still was Southern's best cover corner.
Yes,
And in terms of you know, his player efficiency rate, they say he was like one of our highest players, like highest cornerbacks in the FBS. I mean, I'm sorry, the FCS. So that was why he garnered interest from Ohio University and other schools or whatever the case may be. But in terms of the transfer portal, fellas, it's no real rhyme or reason. Players could just enter just for the sake of entering. Hey, I want to change the scenery or whatever the case may be. So it doesn't even always have to make sense.
yeah, I see. And most of these players, okay, DJ, we know DJ is not the greatest quarterback, but he is the young man is talented. But he's not one of the players that's going to get, in my opinion, that will get stuck in the portal. Can we all agree with that? Somebody would need a big quarterback, especially
Yeah,
for
he
those
he got that
short.
Cam Newton bill. He got that
Yes,
Cam Newton. He's not Cam Newton. He like, he got the arm talent. He's not as fast, but he got a game like Cam Newton. So DJ is gonna be picked up by somebody, especially people who ran that quarterback option.
especially Cam Ward, and people like Cam Ward and Riley Leonard. They were the man at where they were at. They were the premier quarterback. You know what I mean? If they were looking for UIL deals, I'm not saying that's what they were looking for, but I'm just talking. But they just say, and just being hypothetical, if that's what they were looking for, they could have got it where they were at, especially Riley Leonard. You know what I mean? So it's you, you know there's this podcast that I listen to called Down South Football. A lot of those brothers are SWAC alumni, and the host said, and he was right. He said, "Don't be surprised in the names that you see in the transfer portal." And damn it, he was right. And it's gonna get worse, y'all. Even with the rules changes. All right. Let's move on. Here's what I want to talk about real fast. Those who didn't know, Cam Newton on his podcast basically made a comment on. Basically, he was having a opinion, just talking football, about who are game managers and who are game changers. And he broke the internet. 'Cause people came after him, basically tell him, "Shut up, you don't know what you're talking about." Basically, he said that Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy are game managers, not game changers, and that's his opinion. That's definitely his opinion, right? But what I found it funny, the people, the sense of urgency people had just to attack Cam Newton and just having an opinion, and we heard, and me and JB can attest to this. We heard crazy opinions when it came to Lamar Jackson. So
Facts.
I
And
don't
Cam Newton
understand.
wasn't wrong. He wasn't
Uh
wrong.
oh.
Oh,
Uh
he wasn't wrong. I mean, I like Dak. I mean, Dak is what he is. He's not the type of quarterback where um he's gonna throw you to wins. He's not the type of quarterback where you gotta put everything on his back. You have to put pieces around him to win. And if he plays good, that's a plus. Same thing with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is not the person that you put the team on his back to win games. If he's accurate and he plays good, that's a plus. He got weapons all around him, along with a good defense. Baltimore Ravens fans know this. Okay, we had Trent Dilfer as a quarterback. You see what I'm saying? Kyle Bowler as a quarterback. So we know what a game manager look like, and so does Cam Newton. Cam Newton was a game changer. He took and shout out to Ryan Clark on the Pivot podcast. He pointed this out too. I've been saying this for years. He took an old ass Ted Ginn Jr., old ass well not okay Ted Ginn Jr., old ass
Jericho
Jericho
Cotchery.
Cotchery, Devin Funches, um, them type guys, Greg Olson, and put them on his back, and they went 15-1. Now they got beat by the probably the most complete team in Denver because they had a complete team, and I think the coaches shit the bed with the game plan, but
And
that's another story.
they had
That's another story.
two bookends with Ware and Miller. That
Yeah,
was
they
Yeah,
decided to throw the ball instead of running. Because
yeah.
I mean that's but on this show we talked about offensive coordinators. Well, but that's another story. Let me get back on topic. He was right. Cam knows what a game manager and a game changer looks like because he was at one time one of the best football players in our league.
and when he got
Same
older, he
thing.
became a game manager.
He became a game manager, so he was both. He was both in his career. Okay, so the same thing with Lamar Jackson. We've seen Lamar Jackson, like Cam, take teams in college that probably nobody else could win with, and take them far, and have a winning record. We've seen him do that in the NFL. Take teams with less, especially with average receivers, and take them to the playoffs. So when he said that Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and the rest of these guys are game changers, it's because they win. If you win, it's because of them because they can take the game over. Okay, Brock Purdy ain't taking the game over. Brock Purdy just better make that damn throw. That's what we expect. Kirk Cousins better make that damn throw. Your boy Dak Prescott better make that damn throw, especially with the receivers they got.
Make the correct reads. Yeah,
I'm just sick of people acting like they don't know what Cam is talking about.
because people don't like Cam Newton. So he was for some reason this topic you became everybody whipping boy. But if you set your whatever your uh personal grudges aside with Cam Newton, you'll realize, okay, the guy that's talking is a Heisman winner, played over 5 years in the NFL, was a Pro Bowler, so he might know a little bit.
MVP.
MVP of the NFL. Thank you, Coach. How can I forget that? So he might know a little bit of something. I don't know.
The best, like I said, the MVP is the best player in the league. Now, I had an attitude when people saying Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy put it up a lot of stats, but he's not the best player on that team. The best player on that team,
It's
somebody
Christian
said it, is Christian McCaffrey.
and George Kittle,
D-
Trent Williams is having a
D-
good year as well.
Debo Samuel.
Debo
Debo
Samuel.
Samuel,
See, look,
all those.
proving JB point, talent all around.
So all you got to do is just be accurate. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, look, man, it's just the fact that um we're in this social media age where people just love hopping on the bandwagon and just not sitting back and dissecting what somebody said. Were they right? Do they have a point? It's fashionable to disagree just to be disagreeing.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm gonna have to kind of second what my brother JB just said. Realistically, if you was to take Brock Purdy and maybe you put him in, I don't know, Tennessee, you put him in Green Bay, you put him in some of
LA
these other teams.
Chargers, Oakland,
Yeah,
or
yeah, with a
LA,
lot less
yeah.
talent and a lot less weapons. Essentially, he would struggle. And like JB was saying, it's not like he's a Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, or even a Cam Newton or Lamar Jackson. He's not a guy that's going to carry a team. But if you put him with an excellent running game and an excellent defense and weapons around him, he's going to be successful.
And you know what people's argument would be, Coach? Well, is he winning? Is he winning? So shut the hell up. No, no, idiot. We're not disputing if they're winning or not.
It's the situation he's in.
It's a situation he's in.
Exactly. And I mean, he's even right about this, Dak Prescott. I mean, truthfully speaking, I mean, it's not like Dak Prescott is like we said earlier, like a Peyton Manning, a Tom Brady, a Drew Brees. I mean, just think about it, bro. I mean, there were a lot of people that thought Troy Aikman was the game manager in his day. And I mean, I know some people are like, well, how Troy Aikman was a game manager? You got to realize he had Michael Irvin, he had Alvin Harper, he had Emmitt Smith, he had Moose Johnston, he had the best offensive line in the NFL, he had a savage defense. If you'd have took him and maybe switched places and maybe put him with the Detroit Lions, I mean, even though they had Herman Moore and Barry Sanders, they didn't have the offensive line and the defense that they had with the Dallas Cowboys. Or maybe if you put, everybody talk about how overrated at the time Warren Moon was, which I think was a disgrace. I think Warren Moon is one of the greatest and most underrated quarterbacks of all time. Had you switched Troy Aikman and Warren Moon, I guarantee you Warren Moon would have had a lot more success than Troy Aikman had in Dallas. So the point we making is a lot of times it's just the circumstances. And I don't know what it is about ESPN and black athletes. This lady that was on this show that came after Cam Newton. To me, it seemed like she the next in line to be the next Malika Andrews. You disparage and you talk negatively about a black man, and all of a sudden, ESPN, the powers that be at ESPN, they pat you on your head, hey, you're a good love, whatever the case may be, and you get elevated and catapulted up through the ranks. I promise you, she getting ready to be exalted at ESPN because that's what they like. They like somebody putting down black athletes, talk negatively and disparagingly about them. And like you said, Ryan Clark was saying, they didn't basically attack, his take. They're attacking everything aside from that. So that's the reason why, like, I'm done with ESPN at this point. Figuratively speaking, I'm pointing my middle finger at ESPN. I'm like, I don't have no dealings with y'all at this point.
I agree. There
I agree.
better shows like uh, Living Big with Big Reg, the Bayou Sports Talk, Coast 67 Sports TV channel, a whole bunch of other channels, the Road Podcast. There's other channels we can out here that we can watch.
Yeah. We done with old media pretty much. Period
Yes,
over here. You know what I'm saying?
yes, I agree. And it's like it like they made it personal, and I believe, like JB said, it's obvious. It's become fashionable to just make arguments and disagree for the sake of it. Because I'm not gonna say her name. That lady who insulted how Cam dressed. I ain't gonna lie. Cam choice of fashion, you know, weird, but that's him. But I'm listening to what he's saying. I'm listening to what he's saying, and what trips me out. Most of these folks never played the game before, including her. She just went to school for reporting. You know what I mean? She went to school just to talk and interview people. That's it. She never played football before, and most of these commentators haven't, except for the former NFL players and some of the NFL players that were just on the bandwagon. They were just kissing her ass and agreeing with her for their job's sake. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was hard to watch, as far as just seeing how people will fall in line just to bring somebody down without understanding their point. Or do they have a point of what they're saying?
No, I don't even think they believe what they're saying. I think Cam said it. If you go watch his video of their response, it's basically they're repeating what the owners of the networks want them to say. You know what I'm saying? Um, uh, like what Brown said, they white daddy. So it's like it's not really their opinion. I bet you a lot of them probably agree with what Cam is saying. It's just it's fashionable to put a narrative out there now, even if it's not true. Um, us in the LDBC know that. You know what I'm saying? That narrative that's not true, and we have to fight against that. So Cam is just saying, hey, a lot of these guys, some of these guys is not as good as you say they are. You know, I've been told people, well, I told my brother because we started the Southern Baller Show a couple of years ago, but I've been telling people that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson was going to be better than Baker Mayfield and Josh Rosen and all these guys. You see what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
it's just people don't really know football. They just want to debate and talk and just hear themselves talk and not just come to a agreement that they might be wrong. You know what I'm saying? So
And just to kind of piggyback off what you're saying, JB, to me, it's not just the fact that they disagree with his opinion, but it kind of further builds Kwame Brown case. It kind of further builds Dez Bryant case in terms of anything you're gonna do to tear down a black athlete. That's what we're gonna do. Because even if you go back to the guy, the Josh Giddey situation, as you've noticed, like they haven't reported anything on that situation. Yet as soon as something happens with Von Miller, boom, guess what? Hey, we literally got to stop in the middle of first take and tell y'all what's going on with the situation. Essentially, Von Miller was guilty till proven innocent. Whereas on the flip side, we don't even acknowledge Josh Giddey situation like it never even happened. And
That man got pictures, coach.
yeah, and and we talk about so many other instances, whether it's Chad Wheeler or whether it's Big Ben, uh, Dana White or whoever. It's like in these instances, they get the benefit of the doubt. Whereas if you a black athlete, you guilty till proven innocent, and kind of like you say, basically, it's not their own thoughts, their own beliefs, their own opinion. Like you said, kind of the way Kwame Brown, eloquently articulates on Bus Life. Basically, they just, giving the thoughts and the opinions of their white zaddy, and that's what it is. And it's sad. I mean, if I have to do that to earn $1, nah. I mean, that's why you look at, like you say, like Bayou Sports Talk and the Southern Baller Show. Essentially, everything we saying on these shows and these podcasts, we authentically believe. So it's coming from a genuine place. Whereas if you look at all these narratives that they spin on ESPN, these people don't believe that. Essentially, that's what's coming from the powers that be. In many instances, I don't believe Malika Andrews she legitimately believe everything she's saying? Does Stephen A. Smith legitimately believe everything she's saying? Molly Cameron, you can just go down the line, so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, bro, that's why I say it's not just ESPN, it's old media in general. It keeps up a white supremacist mindset and way of thinking when it comes
Yep,
to
it's white supremacist mindset with black voices. Yep.
Definitely, indeed. It's just tiring, man. Like there's a way to, even if you disagree with Cam, there was a going. I mean, there's a civilized way to disagree with someone.
Facts.
But the people that can't even bench 220.
Got something to say.
They got something to say. It's just that's what we're dealing with here nowadays, people. What's going on, Ray Swank? What
yeah,
up, my brother?
shout out to my little cousin Raymond. He's one of the panelists and co-hosts on Bayou Sports Talk. Shout out to him.
Brother. Salute. Y'all subscribe to Bayou Sports Talk. But yeah, man. Yeah, I just had to get my take on this because we get it. Y'all don't like Cam Newton. We get it. Because they never forgave him for saying that the reason why he's not getting no calls that Tom Brady is getting because he's a 6'6" black man, big black guy. And people never forgave him for it. So every time Cam Newton opens his mouth, people, especially people that are prejudiced against him, roll their eyes and just dismiss what he's saying. But if you just sit back and listen to what he's saying, he got a point. Is he saying that Brock Purdy is not a good quarterback? No, because that would be absolutely false. Is he saying that Dak Prescott is not a good quarterback? No, that is false. But in our opinion, the panelists' opinion, we can all agree, both of them are not Tom Brady. Both of them are not Drew Brees. That's an opinion, folks. We're talking football. But that's why I created the Southern Baller Show, so we can all speak in dialogue.
Yeah, I stopped calling Tom Brady a game manager when I saw him win with Danny Amendola and all the board. With no weapons and just with Gronk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Now don't get it twisted on the front end when he had Corey Dillon. He had the savage defense he had. Initially, he
Right.
was a game manager, but eventually he evolved into a game changer, and
Yes.
it kind of furthers like Cam Newton's point, you know,
Right. When he had Deion Branch and all them boys and
and Randy
because
Moss and Corey Dillon, and yeah,
That
you
was
know,
just that just made him even more of a beast.
yeah, yeah,
I seen Tom Brady win with no weapons on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Like a Lamar Jackson. And even though he didn't win, I mean he don't have that element of running, but he found ways to win the game. So and making the right throws. So I promise you, if you put um, uh, Brock Purdy on that team, that Baltimore team we had last year, we not winning a lot of games. So
I
well, we
agree.
had Prochet as a wide receiver and Devin Duvernay. So
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. But it's just overblown. But um, just to switch gears, hey coach, what do you think? I just heard Southern has confirmed that Terrence Graves is you guys your head coach going into the 2024 season. What is your opinion on that?
yeah. Terrence Graves has been hired as the 21st head coach at Southern University. They made it official. Athletic director athletic director Coach Roman Banks. They had a press conference, and essentially, as a member of Jaguar Nation, a faithful member, you know, I like to hire. Friday night, I was on Chris the Method Man show. I'll go subscribe to his channel. Also, he also follows closely Southern University, but he dabbles a little bit more than just Southern University. But truthfully speaking, we had a good conversation, and basically from a Southern University standpoint, I thought it was a good hire because the reason being the top two candidates Southern University had on the board. First, Chennis Berry. One of my coaching friends, he kind of pointed this out. Maybe the reason why Chennis Berry really wasn't, even though he interviewed with Southern, and it seems as if he was leaning in Southern University's direction. It seemed as if maybe he took into consideration that they passed him over a couple other instances. They did pass him over, like the last two times. He was one of the candidates that they were considering, but they didn't give him serious consideration. The last two times they were looking for a head coach. The two previous times they went with, of course, Eric Dooley, and prior to hiring Eric Dooley, they tried to hire Jabbar Chaluk, and then prior to that, they went with Jason Rollins, who already was on their staff. So they really didn't give him serious consideration. In addition to that, he already had ties to both. He had ties to both South Carolina State and at Southern University. But from my understanding, of course, I think Benedict College is closer to South Carolina State, but more than anything, I think his ties to Coach Buddy Pugh in South Carolina State were stronger than Southern University. I think he knew the kind of pressure that came with coming to Southern. So I think that's kind of why he went the South Carolina State route. And in terms of Trey Oliver, like from what I'm understanding, Trey Oliver didn't even give Southern University like any real consideration in terms of he didn't even meet with him. So spinning that forward, they interviewed Mickey Joseph, who he's from the West Bank of New Orleans. He played for Nebraska. He was Nebraska's interim head coach in 2022. He was a position coach at LSU. He coached at a lot of other schools around us, WAC, and he coached at Nicholls State, so on and so forth. They also was interested in a New Orleans Saints assistant coach. Basically, all the coaches they were interested in hiring. Coach Eric Dooley this past season, he made $310,000. Like all of these coaches that Southern was interested in, basically they were gonna make they make at least $100,000 more than what Coach Dooley made this past season. So if you look at individuals like Jabbar Luke, so on and so forth, like these guys that work at like the University of Florida, Florida State, the New Orleans Saints, all of these guys make like, 400,000, half a million a year, whatever the case may be. And even though, you might be willing to take less money to become a head coach on a lower level and kind of build up your name and your resume, these guys still have bills. They still have financial obligations. And as a
Right.
result, they're really not in a position where they can say, hey, I'm going to take $100,000 pay cut for the opportunity to become a head coach. And based on Southern's financial situation with Coach Dooley, like he still had another year or two left on his contract. So Southern is going to have to pay him also. So I think at the end of the day, I think you're losing all these players in the transfer portal, like Gerard Sims and Carl Ligon and Christian Davis and Kelby Givens and Eli Fields. Southern had to stop the bleeding, and in addition to that, you had to your coach got to get on the recruiting trail, whatever the case may be. I think it was a good situation under the circumstances. I think it was the best they could do in the circumstances. He did a good job in the Bayou Classic. Once they got rid of Coach Dooley. However, a couple of my subscribers, they pointed out when he was Pete Richardson's, of course he had a couple other stints at Southern as a, position coach, and eventually in 2006 he was the defensive coordinator. They talked about how bad the defense was when, he was the defensive coordinator in 06. And, the thing I was looking at is, from my perspective, is at the time he was the defensive coordinator, but he wasn't the head coach. He really didn't have the ability to go out and recruit and get the kind of players he wanted. He's more of in a power position at this point, where he kind of picked the players he wanted to recruit, whatever the case may be. So at the end of the day, I think it was a good hire. I think he's going to do a good job. I think it's Jaguar Nation. We have this reputation of being unrealistic. And in addition to that, basically, the perception is we expect to win the SWAC every year. I think that's not the case. I think we look at more the talent level we have on the team. So it's going to kind of be interesting to see like what transpires this coming season at Southern University. I'm excited to move forward and turn the page away from Eric Dooley and turn it to Terrence Graves. I think he's going to do a good job. I think he kind of has the pulse of the team. And one thing Chris the Method Man said Friday night, when I was on his show as a guest, basically he talked about how Coach Graves, he did a better job of holding the players accountable. And I think that's one thing that Southern University needs. So I think he's going to do a good job. I think Southern is in a good situation moving forward. I think the main thing Southern University needs to do at this point is bring back some of those players that we lost in the transfer portal. But more than anything, the holes we have and the vacancies we have on our roster.
And that's one thing, and didn't mean to cut you off, Coach.
Uh-huh.
One thing I wanted to ask you is how you think Coach Terrence Graves is going to do with the recruiting. Like you said, losing a whole bunch of players to the transfer portal. Terrence Graves is new blood. So is it going to be difficult to bring talent in?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, you got to realize Terrence Graves is a SWAC lifer. He been all around the SWAC. He coached under Coach Richardson. He played under him, so on and so forth. So I think he's going to be all right from that perspective. And I think in addition to that, I wouldn't be surprised the same way Coach Dooley was able to bring back Jordan Lewis. I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to get back a Kelby Givens and a Christian Davis and a Eli Fields. I think we're at the point now where he probably not concerned with getting back Harold Blood and Dylan Marotta. I think you're just kind of at the point where, Southern probably not a good fit for those two guys. They're probably more suited for a lower level SWAC team like maybe a Valley, a BC, a UAPB, or maybe, like you were saying last week, maybe even a Division II school for somebody like a Harold Blood. But in terms of like some of the other backs, maybe you want to bring back Gerard Sims and Carl Ligon and compliment Kendrick Grimes. You definitely want Kelby Givens back because I think it's easier to replace Taj Brown as opposed to having to replace both Taj Brown and Kelby Givens. You rather replace just Jordan Carter, who kind of is like a modern day Sean Wallace, or maybe even like a newer version of the Honey Badger. You rather replace just him as opposed to having replaced a Jordan Carter and a Christian Davis. So I think he'll be able to get back a couple of players he lost in the portal, and I think in addition to that, I think Southern name alone just recruits and get good players. Just like, I don't know if you saw the documentary at the University of Miami. Basically, they think,
30 for 30.
Yeah, in that surrounding area, you could get a team that could win a national championship. And it's the same thing with Southern University, just in Southern University's backyard, with Southern Lab and Scotlandville High and those surrounding schools in Baton Rouge. And in addition to that, the River Parish area with St. James and Destrehan.
Surrounded with talent, but
and then not only that, but the I-10 corridor from Baton Rouge to New Orleans. Just those areas alone, you can win a SWAC championship,
I agree. I also want to shout out in the chat, Jay the Six, what it do, family? Yeah, this gentleman here, he you'll see him on the panel with 86 the Ghost or Living Big with Big Reg. His channel is mainly a Baltimore Ravens supporter, but he talks about more than just football. He has very interesting channel, so please support this brother. My LDBC brother, Brent Fox, he said, salute my brothers. I'll be listening, but still supporting. Always, man. I appreciate you, man. And Jay Good said, I'm interested to see who the offensive coordinator is to be named. Yeah, that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be interesting, too. Maybe he goes with Willie Totten, sound like Willie Totten. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he just leaves him as the quarterback coach. Maybe he brings in another OC, or maybe he promotes him to OC and bring in another quarterback coach. Who knows? But I think that was one of the conflicts, the fact that Coach Dooley was the offensive coordinator and he was the head coach. Even though he had a quarterback coach, he never hired an OC. I think that was a conflict of interest because I think in some instances, from a coaching perspective, sometimes it's better to have somebody calling plays while you're the game manager. You kind of like, I think that's one thing Jimmy Johnson, who's the head coach of the University of Miami and the Dallas Cowboys, he was synonymous for, like getting the best position coaches and the best coordinators he could get. And he kind of was like the CEO, and he was able to oversee the entire program in terms of his football program. I think that's a good way to go. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're an offensive-minded coach and you want to call an offense, that's cool. But I think you kind of have to have a coordinator that maybe can kind of assist you with that, so you can kind of oversee things in terms of a game management standpoint. That's how I always thought about things because, a lot of times when you call plays or whatever, hey, you kind of have to oversee just the whole team as opposed to just the offense. So that's one thing I don't think Coach Dooley ever really took into consideration.
No, he didn't. And Coach, as we wrapping this show up, I am going to ask his question after I finish saying what Jay Good got. Dooley is rumored to be brought in by Joseph as Graham's new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, well, one other channel I saw, I mean, basically they were saying that at one point they thought he was going to be Graham's next head coach. And I don't know if you saw my conversation with Chris the Method Man on Friday, but like I told him, I'm like, bro, there's no way he might not get another head coaching job right away. But I say he's another one. He's a SWAC lifer. And the SWAC, that's one thing Southern fans didn't want. They didn't want another recycled SWAC coach like a Coach Dooley, like a Coach Fred McNair, like the Godfather, Marino Chasm. I mean, if you just go through the SWAC's history, there's so many recycled coaches where, hey, I was the head coach at Alcorn and I'm the head coach at Texas Southern. I was the head coach at Southern. I'm the head coach at Alcorn. I'm the head coach at Southern. So you go all throughout Southern, not just Southern, but the SWAC's history, and see coaches like recycled all throughout the SWAC. And he definitely gonna get another coaching job sooner rather than later. And really, that's where even though he got his start at Southern, he really cut his teeth at Grambling. That's where he really kind of became the prominence as as a coordinator.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't. In my opinion, I think he just need just his offense, just his play calling tendencies. I'm not a fan of. So if if Grambling wants to choose him to be their OC, yeah, they better make sure they have the talent to cover up a lot of mistakes. But that's
Well,
just
you got
me.
to realize, I think, uh, the situation he was in Southern. I think even if he does become the OC at Grambling, truthfully speaking, when you just the coordinator, you're not the head coach. The head coach is the final say. So I think if he is the OC, I think it's probably gonna work out better than it did at Southern. Just to be truthful.
Okay. All right.
Now,
All
you
right.
don't get it twisted. We don't want it to work out to an about you classic. And
Oh
as
yeah,
long as
definitely.
and as long as Southern win the SWAC West and going to win the SWAC championship and they're going to win the Celebration Bowl, I mean, it could work out for them the rest of the year.
Yeah, I know you being a alumni Southern and being a Southern fanatic. I know you definitely don't want that, but hey, um, we'll sit back and watch how it unfolds. Who's gonna go to where? Speaking of who's gonna go to where, Coach, there's rumors floating around uh that Fred McNair, who's been with Alcorn State for many years, um, is basically and this is just rumors. So allegedly, ladies and gents, that Texas Southern is trying to do a deal with Fred McNair for him to be the next head coach of the Texas Southern Tigers. What you think about that, Coach?
From what I heard, he already kind of locked in terms of being Texas Southern next head coach, and you and I kind of talked about it, and I talked about it. I wasn't on another show, but I talked about it behind the scenes. But basically, all corn faithful, they kind of really guess they were tied up Coach McNair at that point, even though they felt like he did a lot for the program, for the school over the years or whatever the case may be. They felt like since they didn't win the SWAC championship this year, or even win the SWAC West, I think they wanted Alcorn to turn the page. Whereas, me, as an outsider looking in, I felt like, basically like he's a perfect fit for Alcorn State. So, like, why you didn't renew his contract like prior to letting it run out at the end of the season? Now, one of my subscribers was basically saying they were trying to work out a deal that was beneficial for both parties, for the institution, Alcorn State, and for him also. But if Texas Southern was able to swoop in and offer more money and give him a better situation, why wouldn't you go with that? So I think from an Alcorn perspective, they shouldn't have put themselves in that situation. Because from what I'm hearing, he will be the next head coach. Or he's already kind of like the next coach of Texas Southern, from what I hear.
Yeah, so I'm hearing now is not um legit as of yet, but you'll see a whole bunch of uh, other channels and articles on the internet and saying that this is most likely going to be uh, um, a done deal, but we'll sit back and watch. But ladies and gents, man, we wanted to come on and give you our take about the Celebration Bowl and other topics a little early. I know we usually go on at 7, um, 7 Central Standard Time, but I just wanted to come on. Um, uh, Living Big with Big Red. He said, with the college playoffs being expanded to 12 teams, do you think Division II teams should get a chance to be in it? I'd love to see an undefeated Division II team get a chance.
Of
Uh,
course.
It won't happen, bro. I mean, just think about it. Florida State really should have been in the playoffs.
you about to
I
beat me
mean,
to what I'm about to say. Go ahead, Coach.
yeah, I mean, realistically, if you look at it, I mean, you got probably big big sky type teams, Mountain West type teams that probably go undefeated and run the table and not really get a shot, let alone FCS and Division II school. Bro, that'll never happen. I mean, you could have the best FCS team in the world like get overlooked, let alone like a Division II school. That like, bro, that's never gonna happen. I
I
mean,
ain't gonna lie, that would be dope. Living Big with Big Red. I ain't gonna front, bro. But if a ACC squad like Florida State didn't make the the college playoffs, like just with 4 entries and being the undefeated team, then North Dakota State ain't gonna make it. A Montana ain't gonna make it. Heck, any of the Sunbelt schools, even any that, which is of course FBS, but
yeah, San
any
Diego
of
State, San
yeah,
Jose State,
and
any of
if
those
they
type
go
of teams,
defeated, any of them teams like that,
they have zero
they
shot.
they may have zero shot. So that, like I said, that's a good idea. They'll make it more interesting. I would love to see in the North Dakota State give Bama a run for their money, but of course we know that's not gonna happen. But yeah, J6 said Florida State was on their third quarterback. He would have got used and abused on national TV. Not good for fans, for business. Yeah, but like if you wanted, I hear you, J6. But if you gonna have that mindset,
I mean, just I don't mean to cut you off, bro. Just imagine the Ravens made the playoffs, right?
right?
And Lamar Jackson get hurt, and y'all down to y'all backup quarterback. You can't say, well, hey, guess what? He's a backup quarterback, so we're not gonna have the Ravens going to playoffs. Instead, you know what? The Denver Broncos, guess what? Y'all got Russell Wilson. I mean, he's better than y'all backup quarterback. So instead, we're gonna put the Broncos in the playoffs instead of Ravens. Man, as Ravens fans, y'all will be highly heated. So essentially,
And
that's the situation.
Yes.
and we almost beat Cincinnati with a backup quarterback. So you
Last year.
can't. It's football, bro. It's football. Adjustments gonna be made. This where your coaches is gonna have to really coach, because it's easy just to call plays when you got the one of the best players on the field.
And people are
When you
saying that
don't,
J. Go ahead, JB.
it's gonna just you're gonna have to see how. Then it comes down how good is your coach really is. You're gonna have to make your coach earn the paycheck. So I don't agree with that. I'm sorry, because I've seen a lot of upsets where we thinking this team there's no way this team can lose and then they lose. That's why they have to play the game. If
And
they get
JB.
blown out, they
Mm-hmm.
get blown out.
And JB, what they're
Go ahead.
basing that off of, what the TCU got massacred in the national championship. But my thing is, that's football. You have to make that on it. You have to take that into account to every level of football. How many times, especially in Texas, you know how many undefeated schools made it to the playoffs and got blown the hell out, and that was their only loss.
Hmm.
That happened so many times this year.
Blowout or not, they put themselves in that position to be in that
Yes,
game. You see what I'm saying? That's why
yeah.
I love March Madness and basketball. Because you get teams, you get all these teams, Villanova, St. John's. They go against a team that
Loyola
you
might
never
make
heard of and lose.
Loyola might make it to the Sweet 16. Yeah, you're right.
So if they bring in that type of thing in football that's good. And if you're good, you're supposed to beat these teams.
Yeah, J6. Yeah, you're right.
So
Tyler Huntley tried to dive over. Thought he was trying to dive over and turn the ball. Yeah, but that's football, man. That's football. That was dumb. That play was dumb as
that, but
hell.
Jada 6 though, Jada 6, that's coaching. Why would you call that? And you got a 5'11", 6 foot quarterback trying to jump over defensive lineman that's 6'5". You see what I'm saying? And then you do it from the shotgun position.
And you got
So he
running
gonna
back.
have to run up. Yeah. So that's Jada 6. That's coaching. That's why a lot of people, some Baltimore Ravens fans, want Harbaugh out of there because we know he's not the best football mind when we're in a position where he got the coach. Shout out to Sip the Tally and the rest of the flock and all them boys who be who say this on the round table. So I mean, look, this is where coaching come in.
I agree.
But hey, I don't mind having it's more football. I don't mind having two more slots because that means if that 11th or 12th team can that was everybody looked over can get hot because all you got to do in football is get hot. Again, as Baltimore Ravens fan, we know this. Look what Joe Flacco did. He got hot in the playoffs, and was we the best team on paper? Not necessarily,
No,
no. But we won. But Joe Flacco got hot, and we won games. Especially in that 2000 team, we had the best defense on the field, but we did
not the
not.
best
We
offense.
on paper we did not have the best offense, but we got hot. It's football, y'all.
And truthfully speaking, even if Ray Swank and I had this conversation a couple weeks back. Even if you have 64 teams, that 65th team that's gonna get left out, it's gonna be a complaint by that team. So at the end of the day, bro, you always gonna have somebody that's gonna be on the outside looking in. I don't care how many teams you have.
That's true, man. That's true. Yeah, he did. J6 FSU head coach called some bonehead plays this season. That's on him. That's on him. That's everywhere. J6. Be honest with you, if you look to some of my past shows, one of my shows is on the offensive coordinators and J6, and I love Coleman, Johnny Wilson, Bell, and Benson, but Jordan Travis was barely winning game under the coach. So what could have they done with a third string? Hey, I mean, it still don't matter, man. As overall, the squad
They
is
deserve a chance to
undefeated.
go out there and play football and lose like everybody else.
I mean, look at Ohio State. They won national championship with Cordell Jones. He was their third string quarterback. So, I mean, you never know until you give him a chance. I mean, who'd have thought Cordell Jones was going to play the way he played? Nobody.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Cause you saw when he tried to play in the USFL, he was okay, but we
That
can say
yeah.
okay.
No, yeah, he wasn't good at all. He had a strong arm and he could run.
Yeah, living big with Big Red said, yeah, they still earned the right to go and try to win. Yeah,
Facts. That's what I'm gonna say it again and I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. This is why I love March Madness. Okay, you the number one seed. But this team, this 16th team, this 8th seed that you never heard of, from this division that you've never heard of, just whoop your ass. Like you start to see in the first 3 rounds how good was those teams that was ranked high. If they bring that back if they bring that into football, where you get to some of the Florida states or some of the teams that were left out, uh, that were like number 8, number 9, or number 7. You see what I'm saying? If you start bringing those teams in, or number 5, then it's gonna be interesting. Because all, like
And
I said, go ahead.
go ahead. Yeah, I was about to say, Jada, we ain't
All
debating with you. They may not win. That I mean, Jordan Travis would have probably won the Heisman this year if he would have stayed healthy. He wouldn't have got hurt. But
right.
our argument is they deserve to be in a slot. That's it. Win or lose, it's only right.
And I mean, one other thing we pointed out too was the fact that if you look at Alabama, you look at the University of Texas, it's more the prestige and the fact that they have a bigger following and they bring a lot of money to the table. That was the reason why the two of them got catapulted over Florida State more. The politics and the financial aspect of it more than anything.
Yeah, living big with Big Red. Yeah, JB, that March Madness example is a damn good example because I'm not even I'm basketball head like that, but that March Madness is interesting because you can have even an HBCU squad, basketball squad, if they talented enough. Um, they can go far, which some has. I remember Howard squad made it to the Sweet 16. They eventually lost, but um, it was fun to
But
see.
they got a chance to lose. That's our point. They got a chance to lose. I got irritated. I love the Pivot podcast, but I got irritated by Channing Crowder point. He was saying, well, I'm like, that don't. It's football. They earn the right. I don't care how strong the ACC or weak the ACC is. But I know everybody like to lick on the SEC balls, but I'm just saying they dominated their division. That's hard. Football is hard. You see what I'm saying? They put
Yes.
themselves in that position to win. Period.
And Living Big with Big Red said that will be great for college football, especially with the transfer portal being the way it is. Jay, this is okay. Y'all made some good points. uh, yeah, man. I'm sorry, Jay. To say we ain't. You making a good point too. Just know we know what it is. Without Jordan Travis, they probably was gonna get dog walked, but still, they deserve to be in that slot.
Yeah, they earn the right to take that beating.
Yeah. But Living Big with Big Red said that would be great for college football, especially with the transfer portal being the way it is. Yep, that's right. But guys, my Baltimore Ravens about to play, so I'm about to wrap it up to get ready to see what my Ravens do if they gonna continue to win or they gonna lay an egg. Hopefully not. But thank you guys, J6, man, Living Big with Big Reg, Jay Barr, uh, my brothers Brent Fox, Jay Good, LDBC brothers, man. I appreciate y'all for taking your time out y'all Sunday to listen to my ass, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm trying to get um, at least 100 subscribers before the year is out. If not, before February, and I'll keep building from there. But this has been therapy for me. Getting on live, just talking shit, man. Right or wrong, man. We deserve to. We have the right to give our opinions, and I appreciate you guys taking your time out today just to listen to me, and us, man. Coach 67 Sports TV and JB and other brothers like Brent Fox and um, Joseph Townsend and uh, I'm just grateful, y'all. JB, you about to say something?
Man, bless y'all, man. Yeah, I was just say bless y'all. Y'all be easy. Have a great weekend, man, and have a wonderful holiday.
Yeah, y'all be safe on the holidays. Enjoy y'all family. You don't know how long people got on this earth, so enjoy y'all family, man. I don't care what you believe. You may not even believe Christmas, but to take this opportunity to be with your family, man. And Coach 67 Sports TV, let everybody know where they can see you.
All right, yeah, you can catch me here. First before that, you catch me at Cool 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms, on X, formerly known as Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever the case may be. And you can also catch me here at Cool 67 Sports TV here on YouTube. I also started a backup channel, Cool 67 Sports TV, outtakes and podcasts. I'm getting ready to have a real quick episode of Bayou Sports Talk, real quick, probably in like the next 30 minutes or so, maybe somewhere between 7:30, 8 o'clock. So y'all check me out. Y'all have a blessed, phenomenal weekend. I'll catch y'all on the rebounds. Peace and blessings to y'all.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach. I'll be tuning in. And this was another installment of the Southern Baller Show. Y'all have a blessed Sunday. See y'all next Sunday.